Hello everyone, once again welcome back to another session of some basic concepts of social science. In our previous video lecture, we had discussed about the sociological concepts and what is society, what is community, and we can get knowledge on that. And also in our previous lecture, we had discussed about what is social group, what are the characteristics of social group, what are the functions of social group, what are the importance of social group, and now in this lecture we will discuss about the different classification and basis of different criteria of social groups, and also we will discuss about the types of group. Like in this lecture we will discuss about the primary group and secondary group. What are the elements of primary group and what are the elements of secondary group? What are the characteristics of primary group and what are the characteristics of secondary group? And also we will discuss about what are the differentiation between the primary group and secondary group. Then is classification of types of social group. There is different types of classification and different bases of social group, and groups can be classified on several bases. What are the bases? First is size, next is structure and organization, next is contact, next is relations, next is identifications, and basis of size on social groups are classified by a German sociologist George Simmel. First is dyad, contain two persons in the group, establishes one relationship. Next is triad, contain three persons in the group, establishes three relations. Tetrad, contain four persons in the group, establishes six relations. And last is pentad, contain five persons in the group and establishes relations. On basis of size, first is dyad, where there is two persons in a group and they have one relationship between each other. And in triad, there is three persons in a group and those who are established, the relations is three relations. And in tetrad, there is four persons in that group and they are established as six relations between each other. And in pentad group, there is contain five persons and also they are established on 10 relations, which we can see in next thematic. In dyad, there is one relationship between each other, in between A and B. There is two persons, one person is A and next person is B. And in between A and B, there is one relationship. You can see that mark. And in triad, there is three members, and in this group, the relationship establishes in three relations. And there is three members like A, B, and C. And A has relationship with B and C, and B has relationship with C and A, and C has relationship with A and B. So there is three relations, and you can see that triangle, and through that you can know there is three relations. In a group of four, or in that group, there is four members like A, B, C and D. These are the members, and A has relation with C and B and D also, and B has relationship with A, D and C, and D has relationship with B, C and A, and C has relationship with A, D and B. There is the mark through which we can know there is a group of four and they are maintaining six relationships, and these six relationships are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And in a group of 5 or pentad group, there is 5 members, but they are maintaining 10 relationships. How they are maintaining 10 relationships? The 5 members are A, B, C, D and E, and A has relationship with B, A has relationship with C, A has relationship with D, and also A has relationship with E, and B has relationship with A, C, D and B has relationship with E. and C has relationship with B, A, D and E also, and D has relationship with C, V, A and E also, and E has relationship with A, V, C and D also. So they are maintaining 10 relationship between each other because they have relationship with each other in different ways. These are the examples of dyad, triad and also group of 4 members and pented group also. Through that you can know about the number of relationships. And next is basis of structure and organization. We can define what are the classifications of structure and organization. On the basis of structure and organization, social groups are classified by Dewitt-Sanderson, and this is formal group and informal group. On the basis of structure and social organization, social groups are divided into two parts. First is formal, and under formal group there is different types of group. First is voluntary formal group, coercive formal groups and utilitarian formal groups. And what is voluntary formal group? People join of their own volition in voluntary formal group, and person join the group by its own choice also, and free to join or withdraw from the group at any time. And example is a company, job, organization of voluntary formal group. In coercive formal group, there is also called as delegate group, and person join as representative of a number of people, and there is a representative of a number of people and join the group for their own benefits or societal benefits. There is the benefit of own and also sometimes benefit of society also. Person either elected or nominated by some power. In a formal group, there is coercive formal group. The person, that person is sometimes elected and also nominated by some power or by group of people. Then is examples of the coercive formal group is the parliament. And under formal group there is another group, that is utilitarian formal group, and that is also called as involuntary group and doesn't depend upon the person's choice. In that group the choice don't depends upon the person, and not forced to join a particular organization but feel compelled to join the group, and people join it to achieve their own goals. An example is one's family, race and caste. This is under formal group, and in a formal group there is the poses rules, regulations and schedules and roles of that group. But in informal group there is no relations and regulations and free to do anything. In formal group there is different rules and regulations, but in informal group there is no rules and regulations. And in informal group that provide different but important things, and provide relaxation and reduce stress also sometimes. And in informal group they are involved in fun activities and help keep people good social health and welfare. And examples is the group of friends, family, passengers sharing a bus in informal group, and which we will discuss briefly about formal group and informal group in next. And on basis of contact or social ties, what are the classification? On the basis of contact, social group classified by C.H. Cooley. And what are the groups on basis of contact? These are primary group, secondary group and reference group. In primary group there is close relation and there is unity and there is we feeling, and for example of primary group is family. And in secondary group there is the relationship between the members are regular basis but very formal relation, and there is also close contact but there is very and there should be formal relation between the members. And next is on basis of relations. On the basis of relations, social group classified by George Hashin. First is unsocial group, next is pseudo-social group, next is anti-social group, and next is pro-social group. And what is unsocial group? and live to themselves and for themselves, and don't participate in larger society of which they are a part, and don't mix up with other people and remain alone, and which is the example of the unsocial group is murderers, thieves, etc. And in the unsocial group, there is the members of that group are living for themselves and also for themselves and live to themselves, and they are very selfish by nature, and there is the members have no participation in larger society, and they like to stay alone. And next is pseudo social group, participate in the larger society, participate only for interest and gain, and don't are for the greater good of the society. And examples of pseudo social group is politicians, feudals, etc. In a pseudo social groups, they are participating in a larger society, and also they are participating for their interest and gain something, and they are the greater good, and they are the greater things of the society. And next is anti-social group, act against the interest of society and destroy public peace and property. And examples of that anti-social group is calling a strike by labor union, plans of political parties to overthrow government. And in anti-social group, all the members of that group are against the interest of the society, and they are not doing any work which are the support of society, and always they are working interest against of the society, and they are destroying different public peace and different public property also. These are the anti-social activities. For example, calling a strike by labor union, and plans of political parties to overthrow government, and there is different types of strikes, in which strike they are breaking the peace and property of the public. And in pro-social group, that is antonym of anti-social group, and work for the interest of the larger society of which they are a part, and engaged in constructive activities and increasing welfare of the society. In pro-social group, that is the antonym of anti-social group, and also in a pro-social group, the members are working for the interest of the larger society, and also they are a part of a larger society, and they are engaging in different constructive activities, and they are increasing welfare of the society or well-being of the society. Like for example of pro-social group is different volunteers are working in our society, and that is the major example of pro-social group. And on basis of identification, on the basis of identification, social group classified by Sumner, and first is in-group, out-group and reference group. These groups are classified by Sumner on the basis of identification, and which we will discuss later. Next we will discuss about briefly about different types of group. What are the types of group which we will study in our lecture? First is primary and secondary group, then is reference group, then is in groups and out groups, then is formal and informal groups, which we will focus on that. And first we will discuss about the primary group. Actually, what is primary group, what are the importance of primary group, what are the characteristics of primary group, we will discuss on that. Primary groups are those that are close knit. They are typically small size, include intimated and non-specialized relationships between their members, and are usually long lasting. In primary group, there is close relationship in between each member, and they are always in small size, and they have intimate relationship and non-specialized relationship between all the members of primary group, and the relationship of primary group are very long lasting. And according to E.S. Shields, what is the definition of primary group is, by primary group we mean a group characterized by a high degree of solidarity, informally in the code of rules which regulate the behavior of its members, and autonomy in the creation of these rules. the solidarity involves a close identification of the members with one another and with any symbols of the group which might have grown up. In primary group, always the primary group is small size, and also in a primary group there is close and intimate relationship between each member of that group. And also in primary group, the rules and regulations and the behaviors of that group made by or autonomy of the head of the family and created by the head of the family. And also in a primary group there is high degree of solidarity, and there is formal relationship, we feeling, and they have unity also. And the solidarity involves a close identification of the members of the group with one another, and there is symbols of the group which always grown up in primary group also. And next we will discuss about the elements of primary group. What are the elements when there is a primary group? First is tend to be small and ordinarily composed of fewer than 15 to 20 individuals. In a primary group, the group always small and also composed of fewer than there is members of are number in 15 to 20 individuals. And the members of primary groups feel a strong personal identity with the group. And also in a primary group there is strong personal relationship or identity in between the group members. Then is a primary relationship is one in which intimate face-to-face association and cooperation predominate. In a primary group there is the relationship in between the members are very intimacy, and they have face-to-face relationship and cooperation between all the members. And these relations are based on ties of affection and loyalty, involve many different aspects to people's lives and endure over long period of times. And also in a primary group the relations are based on the social ties, and there is affection, loyalty, and people lives with the over long period of times, and the relationship is very long lasting in a primary group. And next we will discuss about the importance of primary group. What are the importance of that group? Primary group is the birthplace of human nature, and the birthplace of human nature is primary group because family is a example of primary group. And primary group help in the socialization of the individuals and maintain social control over them. And in primary group there is also socialization process of the individual, and which can maintain social control over all the members, because we can be a socialized person, or we can know about the rules, regulations of society, and how we can maintain and how we can control over our behavior, activities in our society. We can learn those things from our primary group, or for example from our family. Teaches the members to work in the society according to their rules. And also primary group teaches us how the members of the primary group are working, and how they have to work in the society, and how they can follow all the rules of the society or primary group. The primary groups are the nuclear cells of social organization, and also this group is a nuclear cell of the social organization, because in primary group there is we feeling, there is unity, so that that is nuclear cell. Primary groups induces the development of the individual personalities, and also the personality of the individual or each individual member of the primary group which depends upon the primary groups. And the development of personality of a person, we can develop our personality from primary groups, because we can learn the rules and regulations, we can learn how to survive, we can learn how we can maintain or how we can follow the norms and values of our society from our family or from primary group. So we can develop our personality through the help of primary group. And next is what is secondary group, and first we will discuss secondary groups refers to a formal impersonal group in which there is little social intimacy or mutual understanding. Secondary group means there is a formal relationship and they have impersonal group, and there is no selfishness, there is no personal relationship, there is very formal relationship, and there is also some little social intimacy and social intimacy, but not like primary group. And also in a secondary group there is mutual understanding between all the members, because when we are working in a secondary group, there is the members have specific goal and specific objective. All the members of secondary group are working on specific goals and objectives, and they have equal goal and objectives, so that there is a need of mutual understanding in a secondary group, because we have to work in a team when we are a member of any group. Then when we are working in a team, there is need of mutual understanding between the members, and the relationships between the members is very superficial, and there is only indirect exertion of influence amongst them. And there is also relationship between all the members of secondary group is very superficial and only indirect exertion and influence also. There is relationship between all the members in regular basis, but sometimes there is in direct contact, but in many sectors there is indirect contact with each other, but they know each other when we are in a secondary group. Then what are the definition of secondary group? According to P.H. Landis, secondary groups are those that are relatively casual and impersonal in their relationships. Relationships in them are usually competitive rather than mutually helpful. And secondary group are those that are very relatively casual, and also these are impersonal, and in a social group and which is secondary group, there is no personal relationship and very formal or casual relationship between all the members, according to P.H. Landis also. And relationships in secondary group very competitive and rather than mutual helpful, and they are not focusing on mutual help. There is very competitive in the secondary group. And according to Agwan, the groups which provide experience lacking in intimacy are called secondary groups, and that is known as secondary group according to Agwan, in which group their group is providing experience and in the absence of intimacy relationship between the members. And next we will discuss about elements of secondary group. What are the major elements of that group? First is formal and impersonal relations. In secondary group, there is very formal relationship, and also the relationship is very impersonal. There is no personal relationship between the members. The group doesn't exert any primary influence upon its members, and they do not meet face to face. They perform their jobs, carry out their order, pay their dues, and still may not see each other face to face. In secondary group, there is no primary influence upon its members, and they doesn't exert any primary influence, and there is no meet of face to face of all the members of secondary group. And also the secondary group perform their jobs and carry out their works and pay their dues, and but still that may they have no direct contact or face to face relationship. For example, when we are working in a organization or when we are working in a factory or industry, then we have no direct relationship between the boss or the direct relationship with the authority, and the authority always doing or always authority has role and responsibility in a factory or industry, and their expenditure, and they are doing investment for us, and they are paying our fees, and after that though we have no direct contact or face to face relationship with the authority or with the boss of the organization or institution. And in secondary group, we have no face to face relationship, but we have indirect contact, and the authority or the boss also know about the members or the workers of the organization, and the workers are also know about the authority of the organization, but they have no direct contact, and they have indirect contact, in which there is sector of the positions in a organization or in a institution, and we all are a member of different groups. When we are working in a workplace and in a job sector, then there is also we are a member of secondary group. Next element is large in size, and they may be spread all over the world, and in a as a element, the large in size always spread all over the world, and because secondary group is large in a size, there is no limitation, or there is no small groups. And next is goal oriented, which is also element of secondary group. The main purpose of a secondary group is to fulfill a specific function. Now, all are goal oriented. When we are working in a group, and when we are a member of a secondary group, then there is a need of working in a team, which means T for together, E for everyone, and A for achieve, and M for more. Together everyone achieve more. When we are working in a group or in a team, then there is need of goal, and always we have to goal oriented. When we are not goal oriented, or when we are not doing our job and doing our responsibility, which is very goal oriented and goal motive, we have to achieve the goal. And when we are goal oriented, and when we want to achieve the goal, then we have to work on that. So there is necessity of goal oriented, and which is a major element of a secondary group. Next element is option of membership, and under this, the membership of most of the secondary group is not compulsory. The membership of a secondary group is not compulsory, and this is optional, because we are choosing our secondary group, and when we are working in a workplace, or when we are member of secondary group, then we are choosing that group. There is no compulsory. Then is active and inactive members. Due to lack of intimate relations amongst themselves and large size of the groups, some of the members of the secondary group are active while others are inactive. In a secondary group, some members are active and some members are inactive, and due to lack of intimate relations, there is large size of the groups, and the members are in secondary group, some are very working in active mood, and some are working in inactive mood. That is also element of secondary group. Then is formal rules. A secondary group is regulated by formal rules. In a secondary group, or in different sector, there is different rules which are formulated for the members of that group. A formal authority is set up, and a clear cut division of labor is made, and also there is formal authority in a secondary group. In fact, the stability of a secondary group depends upon its organization, and also the stability of the secondary group always depends upon the organization and the capability of the members of that organization. Then is a differentiation between primary group and secondary group, or primary versus secondary group. On basis of size, the primary group is small in size and area also. On basis of secondary group, that is widespread in size and as well as area. On basis of type of cooperation, the primary group is direct and intimate bonding. In primary group, there is direct and intimacy bonding and relationship between the members. But in secondary group, there is indirect and to achieve only group objective and no personal bonding also. In a secondary group, there is no personal bonding, there is very impersonal relationship, and the members of that group always working or always work on achieve the goal or achieve the group objective, and on basis of kind of structure, based on informal structure, no detailed rules are drafted and members work spontaneously in adjustment with each other. In primary group, there is adjustment of the members, there is informal structure, and but in secondary group, regulated by a set of formal rules, a formal authority is set up with designated powers and clear cut division of labor amongst its members. In a secondary group, there is labor distribution or work distribution, there is formal authority, and also there is some formal rules and regulations, and on basis of relationship, in primary group there is direct, personal and intimate relationship, and in between all the members of primary group, they have direct contact, they have personal relationship, and they have closeness, and they have intimacy between each of the member. And in secondary group, there is indirect contact, not face to face and formal. In primary group, there is face to face relationship, but in secondary group, the relationship between each member is very indirect relationship, and also there is no face to face contact and very formal and official relationship. This is all about today's lecture. In this lecture, we had discussed about the different classification of social groups and different types of groups, and in this lecture we had discussed about what is primary group, what is the characteristics and elements of primary group, what are the characteristics and elements of secondary group, and also we had discussed about the differentiation between primary group and secondary group. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me through comment box. Thank you. Have a great day. Keep watching.